Whether you're 18, 80, or anything in between, if you have a good idea and make smart decisions, you can make millions, and you can do it fast. The proof is all around us in the young and the rich. Tonight, we'll show you what they're doing and doing fast to make those millions so you can do it too. Take Ryan Blair. He's founded 6 successful companies, and he's only 30 years old. He's going to show you how to stop overthinking and start making millions fast. And then there's Ivanka Trump. Don't make the mistake of seeing her as born into privilege. She's got the instinct for making money, and she's going to open your eyes to winning in business and making millions fast. Let the young and the rich teach you to make money fast. I'm Donnie Deutsch, and that's tonight's big idea.
I couldn't shoot a jump shot, I couldn't sing, I couldn't act, I couldn't dance, so about the only way that I was going to become rich was if I started my own company. I'm Ryan Blair, and I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've started 6 multi-million-dollar companies by the time I was 30 years old. 24/7 Tech, multi-million-dollar business. Sky Pipeline, $25 million business. PathConnect.com, soon to be a billion-dollar business. ViSalus Sciences, $100 million company. I can't believe I am where I am. When I made my first million, I was in awe. It was like my entire life had changed forever. Where I'd come from, I had nothing to lose. So most entrepreneurs, they fail because they have something to lose. For me, there was no way I was heading back to where I came from. Life could only get better, and life could only get bigger.
Well, life's been great for you, sir. Tonight, we're teaching people it doesn't always take 100 years to make the money. I mean, you at 19 had your first company, 6 companies, all multi-million-dollar companies by the time you're 30. How'd you figure it out? Where did this drive come from?
Well, you know, first there's a misconception here. It's been 10 years of, 17 hours a day, 7 days a week.
No shortcuts.
So, career-wise, I've probably done more work than most people that are 50, 60 years old. So there is no shortcut. Now, I'm lucky that I had the right mentorship, people to teach me things that, that you can't just find in business school.
But growing up, you had anything but mentorship.
No.
Take me to life as a kid. Your story is a rough one.
Yeah, I was raised by a single mother. Tragedy struck my family when my father got addicted to drugs. He was a middle-class, successful person. So I started out with a decent lifestyle, and then we lost everything. Went to, in and out of the streets, in and out of foster care facilities. My mother struggled on minimum wage to raise me. And so I kind of had a bone to pick with society. I was really angry with everything that had happened to me and my mom, to losing everything, homes being foreclosed on. I lost everything and then found myself in a position where I had nothing to lose.
What does it feel like as a 9-year-old, 11-year-old kid? They're foreclosing your home. You see your mom working minimum wage. You're being put in for any particular moment you remember where you go, this is I am never going to feel this again.
There's one. My mom and I had fled from my dad because he was in bad shape, and we were court ordered to flee. Otherwise, I'd be taken to foster care forever. And we moved all of our stuff into this new home, and I was so excited. It was a 1-bedroom home in a bad neighborhood, and we offloaded all of our goods. And then we went back for a second trip to get the rest of our stuff. And the people in the neighborhood saw us moving in, and they robbed us of everything. And when I walked into the home and saw that my prized possessions, everything that I had as a kid that I loved and adored, was taken from me, clothing, everything. I mean, I had nothing. And we called the police, and the police showed up, and they said, Ryan, you don't want to report this crime, because those people in the park will know you reported it, and they'll come back for vengeance. That was when I knew I was in a whole new world.
How old were you at this point?
I was about 13. I was about 13. When I saw the look on the police officer's face and he said, I really feel bad for this kid, that was when when I understood that it was different, that what I had was a lot worse than what a lot of other people had.
And how about your dad on drugs? Any moment you remember where you see your dad just falling apart?
Yeah, I remember a moment when he accused me of tapping the phones for the government. So he'd become paranoid schizophrenic because he had such an obsessive, situation with drugs that he accused me of tapping the phones, working with the government, and being some form of an agent or something like that. And that's when I knew I had to leave, I had to flee.
So how does a kid who's 13, heading to foster homes, nothing, a penny in the world, mom on minimum wage, how does a guy like that give us the secrets to, by 19 starting his own business, by 30 having 6 multi-million-dollar businesses? How the hell did you do it, man?
For one, I had to grow up very fast, right? So at 13 years old, I kind of had to be an adult. I had to fend for myself, and I had to take care of me first. So I became, a person who took care of myself first and foremost from a survival standpoint. So I kind of built these instincts, not realizing it. They were very suitable to entrepreneurship because...
Which ones? What are those?
Well, really not being afraid, right? So in contrast to where I'd come from, where I was going was only going to get better. So I was never going to go back to the bad neighborhood. I was never going to go back to a 1-bedroom four-bedroom shack in the middle of a, gang-ridden territory. I'd never go back there. So starting a business was real easy. It was risky, though. I left a job, a career where I was making close to $100,000 a year. I was 19 years old, and I said, I'm going to risk everything.
How will you take me to that math? Once again, you're a kid in the ghetto. You're a kid with nothing. You're foster homes. How do you make $100,000 a year at 19 years old?
It's an interesting story. I was in youth camp, and I found in preparation for coming on the show here, I found a letter that I wrote to my mom in camp saying, I'm going to do better. I'm going to get my life. I'm going to make you proud one day. And today, I started playing with computers, and I really think I want to do something in the industry or in the field of computers. It wasn't that quite articulate, but I have that letter, that moment. I didn't realize it at the time. I didn't even realize it. I was about 14 years old. I was in camp for over a month, and I remember I really was fascinated by computers. And at the time, if you recall, in the .com 1.0 era, anyone who had skills with regard to computers, there were talent that was a high in demand, and we were making absurd amounts of money. So I would get, I'd sign on to a company, get a $15,000 signing bonus, and 3 months later, I'd get a 30% raise and sign on to another.
And what happened at 19?
So at 19 years old, I got struck with the idea to be an entrepreneur. I was afraid, though. I'd had a lot of things going, right for me, making good income. I'd bought a car, so I'd taken some risk, got some debt. And I decided I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I went to my mentor, my stepdad, and I said, I'm thinking about being an entrepreneur. And he said, do it. You have nothing to lose. So what? If you fail and if you lose everything, who cares? You're still going to be the same person. What people don't understand in our society is, even if you're down to the lowest financial lows, you're going to wake up alive the next day. You're not going to have everything, your life, your body, your health cannot be taken from you if you've taken, control and taken care of it.
And once again, and your stepdad was right. So what?
Yeah.
But what? You lose. You still got, and then you put one foot in front of the other the next day.
But now everybody else in the world lined up to tell me don't do it, right? Because everybody, the old they said, right? They said that entrepreneurship doesn't work, or they said the industry you're getting into is difficult. So don't listen to these people that are telling you advice unless they're qualified to give it. People who have done it, who have lived it, and then listen keenly.
What's your formula? What's the Ryan formula for? You want the big bucks? Obviously, you're going to have to work your hard, kill yourself. But here are the speed tips.
Self-assessment. So know where you're weak. Surround yourself with people that are going to strengthen your weaknesses. I mean, I've got the best staff in the world. So my companies are so successful is because of the management team that we've assembled and the been able to fill the gaps on so that I could really power on my strengths and work on my strengths. So surround yourself with the right people. And as an entrepreneur, now that we have some capital, I can afford to hire these great minds. Prior to that, what I did is I gave them equity in my businesses, and I got them to sit on my board. People like yourself, I'd ask, join me on my board, teach me how to become a successful entrepreneur, tell me what I need to know. Be a student every day.
Ryan Blair, guy who's making it big and making it fast, and a hell of a dresser. Serial entrepreneur and founder of 6 companies by the time he's 30, each one making millions. More big ideas.
Next, some people just weren't made to punch a time clock.